Hello everyone and welcome back to Odyssey Recaps, Just the Tea Edition, where I do short, shallow, and sassy recaps of each chapter or book of the Odyssey. If you want a more in-depth look at the chapters, feel free to head over to my below the surface recaps, but for now, let's get started. Today we're recapping chapter 5, titled by Emily Wilson as From the Goddess to the Storm. We start the chapter at the reunion episode of the latest season of the Real House Gods of Mount Olympus. Athena goes right in, saying that if Odysseus, who was such a good king and kind king and like a benevolent ruler, is getting trapped on an island and tormented by sexy goddesses, maybe we should only have shitty bad kings from now on. Also, she's worried about Telemachus because the dude bro suitors at Ithaca just want to kill him. They're straight up just going to murder him. Zeus tells her that this is her party and she needs to step up to make sure that both Telemachus and Odysseus come home safely, and that Odysseus also murders the dude bros because they all want to see that. I kind of do too, so. Zeus turns to his son Hermes and tells him to strap on his flying shoes and go tell Calypso that if Odysseus doesn't love her by now, he is never going to, and she really needs to let that man go. Once Calypso's released Odysseus, Zeus declares that Odysseus will drift miserably for 20 days upon a makeshift raft before getting to the next island. No clue why they couldn't just let him use the Olympic God Express or have Hermes fly him or whatever, but hey, 20 days drifting in a raft in the Mediterranean is some people's dream holiday. Zeus says that when Odysseus gets to the next island, the people there will treat him like a god and give him a boat filled with even more treasure than he would ever have brought home from doing war crimes in Troy. Why these people are just going to give Odysseus all this stuff is a mystery, but hey, our boy's coming home. Telemachus is going to be so happy. Hermes dashes off to Calypso's island and is just shocked at how beautiful it is. It's got grapes, it's got sparkling streams, it's got flowers, it's got a gorgeous goddess who can sing and weave. It is paradise. But what Hermes doesn't find is Odysseus, because he is sitting on a beach crying and wishing he was home with his hot wife and sad son, which apparently he does every day. Hermes finds Calypso and tells her that Zeus says playtime is over and she needs to let Odysseus get off the island. Calypso is pissed and goes on a rant about how the male gods are always stopping the goddesses from banging mortals and how it's hypocritical and unfair. She even has a list of examples. And you know what? She is not wrong. There are so many stories about goddesses getting stopped from banging hot mortals, and it is unfair. They should unionize. Or maybe make the male gods do a seminar? Except I think that maybe everyone on Mount Olympus could use a seminar or two on consent and hypocrisy. So maybe we just make that a god-wide thing. Anyway, Calypso ends her rant saying she'll let Odysseus go because she can't go against Zeus, and then Hermes very creepily tells her she better do it ASAP, otherwise Zeus's rage might hurt her. I mean, yeah, we definitely need some more seminars up on that mountain. Like, sign them all up. So Calypso heads off to find Odysseus and tell him that he's a free elf. She finds him sobbing on the beach and says, "Poor man, stop grieving, please. You need not waste your life. I am quite ready now to send you off." It's like, girl, you are the reason he is crying. You whole ass man napped him. This is textbook man napping. But she says she's ready to let him go now, so whatevs, I guess. Oh, also, they mention that Odysseus is crying because he wants to go home, but also partly because Calypso no longer pleased him, and that, yeah, he does sleep with her every night, but it's bad because he doesn't want her, though she still wants him. So, like, on the one hand, gross that Odysseus is out here banging goddesses while Penelope is stuck at home with an army of sweaty mouth-breathing dudes, like, but also this low-key reads as coercive, so the jury is out on whether I'm mad about Odysseus banging the hot but crazy sea goddess. I am hard side-eyeing the entire situation, though. It's not good for anyone, except maybe Calypso, but not for her now, because she's going to lose him. Anyway, Calypso tells him to get it together, stop crying, build a raft, and she'll make sure he's got enough snacks and drinks for the journey and send him on his merry way with a magical breeze. Odysseus is understandably suspicious. Like, imagine you've been trapped by a hot sea-based Kathy Bates from Misery, and all of a sudden she's like, "Oh no, friend, why are you so sad? It's time to go, I'll help you." Like, no girl, I have seen this movie. I am not getting on any death raft. Calypso literally pats his arm and calls him a scallywag, like it's a precocious child, and it's all like, haha, good guess, but it's fine. I swear I will not plan any more painful tricks. You really can go home. And then she swears on the river Styx, which is actually a legit thing, so Odysseus can be reasonably confident that she's not messing with him. Anyway, then she invites him back to the sex cave for one last meal, and he goes with her. Like, nah, man, I would be building that raft ASAP. I would not be going back for some more roofie flavored wine. And guys, this is where it gets Wild. This is the scalding tea we read this book for. So Calypso is like, oh, this man is so sexy when he eats. I gotta try one last time to get him to stay. So she's like, Odysseus, babe, are you sure you really want to go home? The journey is gonna suck. You could just stay here with me. I can make you immortal. Now, I'm also gonna read this next part as a direct quote because, guys. So she says, and I quote, though you might still wish to see that wife you always pined for. And anyway, I know my body is better than hers. I am taller too. Mortals can never rival the immortals in beauty. Like, excuse me? I mean, even if it is true, what a wild thing to say. Also, just like low-key embarrassing. You have to convince him that you're just so much hotter than his wife. Anyway, at this point, Odysseus needs to leave so this girl can get her self-respect back. Ladies, if you have to trap him on an island and constantly convince him he needs to stay with you, he is not the one. Let him go. Anyway, Odysseus is trying super hard to be tactful and is all like, yeah, of course you're hotter. You're a goddess. You're so right. But sadly, I still want to go home to my less hot than you, but still super hot wife. I'll take whatever suffering is waiting for me at sea. I just need to get home. Also, I lived through a 9-year-long war, so I've got previous experience with suffering, so we are good. Now, we don't know exactly how Calypso responds because the next 2 sentences are literally this. The sun went down and brought the darkness in. They went inside the hollow cave and took the pleasure of their love, held close together. What? And you know what? I don't even blame Odysseus here. He is trapped on this island. This woman is a goddess, and he can only leave if she agrees. The power imbalances are crazy. This is not okay, guys. Mount Olympus needs a HR department. Maybe even like several HR departments. This is wild. It's not good. Anyway, dawn finally comes and Calypso gives him some tools and takes him to a forest and is like, good luck, sailor boy. And Odysseus gets going. This guy makes a very detailed and excellent raft. I mean, it's good. It's got sails. It's got masts. It's got yard arms. It does take him 5 days, but it is nautical AF. So finally, on day 5, Odysseus officially gets voted off the island. He sets sail, and for 17 days, he is chugging along, doing great. Then day 18 comes. He sees shore and is like, oh my gosh, yay, I'm saved. Hopefully there's no psycho goddesses here to man-nap me. But just when he's celebrating, bam, Poseidon comes back from his feast in Ethiopia, and he is pissed. He starts brewing up a massive storm to take Odysseus down. Odysseus is all like, oh no, Zeus, why? And is getting hurled around by winds and waves when a sea goddess who used to be immortal sees him and is all like, oh, poor little guy, he doesn't deserve this. So she goes to help him. She tells him to leave the raft behind to be smashed and jump into the sea and take off the clothes Calypso gave him and tie a magical scarf she has around his chest and it will protect him. Then he can swim for the shore because if he makes it to the shore, he is fated to survive. Now, Odysseus is justifiably suspicious. I mean, another goddess telling him to get naked? Yeah, I'd be suspicious too. He decides to wait it out in case she's tricking him and stay with the raft until it breaks apart. But just then Poseidon sends a huge wave and it crashes on him and breaks the raft apart. And he's all like, all right, fine, whatever. And he strips down and ties the goddess's scarf, which in my head is like a really nice pastel pink. Not important, but that's what I'm saying, around his chest. And then he swims off into the waves. Poseidon is pretty happy with this level of suffering, so leaves him and goes home. As soon as Poseidon is gone, Athena swoops in and calms the storm and smooths out the waves so it's easier for Odysseus to swim. Why she couldn't just scoop him up to shore, I don't know, but whatevs. She helps him. So he swims around all naked for 2 days, and finally on the 3rd day he can see the shore. Yay! But it's full of jagged rocks and reefs and cliffs, so it's also like, no, boo. So he's getting swept towards the rocks, but Athena helps him cling to some slightly less sharp ones, and then she helps him swim a bit further along, and he sees a river! Yay again! He prays to the river god and is like, save me, please, help! The river god is like, oh, you are so covered in brine, you're basically a pickle, and he lets Odysseus finally swim into the shore. Odysseus lies in the riverbank just like vomiting up seawater and trying not to die, but he's like, ugh, I can't fall asleep here, the frost will get me. He decides to crawl into the forest and see if he can find somewhere a little less frosty to spend the night, and he manages to find a place where like a olive tree and a thorn bush have grown together and created like a little man cave. He crawls into the cave, makes a bed of leaves and like a blanket of leaves too, and he finally gets to sleep unmolested by goddesses. And that's where the chapter ends. Join us next time for chapter 6, where there is, thankfully, more nudity. Don't know how we would survive without constant male nudity. Anyway, join us then. See you next time.